Hello, my name is Reiko Takeda. My presentation today is entitled How Studying Chinese Has Helped a Teacher Approach Online Teaching. 大家好，我叫吴田丽子，我是英语老师，我学中文快8年了。So that was a brief introduction of myself. Now, some of us are spending another year of teaching online. During the spring term, the majority of classes I've been teaching were online, both synchronously and asynchronously. And I've only taught 2 in-person sessions in April. That was it. Last year, during lockdown, when the whole world was staying home, there was so much talk about starting something new, like cooking, learning how to play a new instrument, and the list went on. I wanted to start something new because I wasn't able to do anything last year. And for me, that is studying Chinese. There were some events last year leading to my studying Chinese. First, during Golden Week in 2020, I started watching Taiwanese drama. I also started listening to music called mandopop, which some of the Taiwanese actors performed. And from the NonEntertainment side, I heard from a JALT member that he was studying Chinese. And in November, during the JALT 2020 conference, I heard a presentation on teaching languages to senior learners that there are cognitive and social benefits. I didn't start thinking seriously about studying Chinese until a couple of other events which took place this year. And I will elaborate on these items on the next couple of slides. I read a book by Cruz and Roberts, 2019, and the message was how language and aging affect each other. I started thinking about my 85-year-old father. Over the past 5 to 6 years, his hearing abilities have deteriorated. Actually, his ability to produce oral language is high. It's just that he doesn't speak as frequently as much as he used to because he is hard at hearing. However, in my opinion, his reading and writing abilities are very high. He has always been an avid reader, and he has self-published several books on Natsume Soseki. It's almost as if he's trying to compensate his loss of hearing with his other abilities. And now I'm reading another book written by the same 2 authors. And the message is, you're never too old to learn a foreign language. Now, I'm aware that I cannot learn a new language the same way I did my L1 Japanese or L2, which is English. The last language I studied was in university, which was Spanish. And I can't learn Chinese in the same way because I'm not living in an environment where I'm exposed to Chinese all the time. But according to Roberts and Cruz, 2015, there is good news. First of all, adults can build on their cognitive strength. And the second one is building on concepts or patterns which are transferable give adult foreign language learners an advantage. And in my case, it's my L1 knowledge in kanji characters. Now, here is an example of something I found from my Japanese, which I thought could be transferable to Chinese. This was the title of a song by a Taiwanese singer, and it was the first title I was fully able to read only with my Japanese knowledge of kanji. In Japanese, it reads Genzai kaishi, which in English means starting now. On the left side, you see the traditional characters which are used in Taiwan. On the right, the simplified characters in Mandarin. And then I found the lyrics online and learned that in Chinese, it reads 现在开始. And when I found out how to read it in Chinese, my thinking of, I think I can do it, turned into, I want to do it. So I started listening to NHK radio Chinese lessons, which are broadcast on weekdays from Monday to Friday at 10:15 p.m. There are also back-to-back reruns on Sunday morning. Now, being raised writing kanji, the only way I knew was to learn by practicing my writing. So here are my notes from April. I was trying to memorize the skit and copy all the grammar points. I was pretty ambitious. By Golden Week, however, writing the skit, which I didn't completely understand, turned out to be quite a burden, and it was becoming unmanageable. You see, I'm writing less in my notes. During this summer vacation, however, I changed my strategy. I practiced the skit by listening to and repeating the material I downloaded. But I keep the writing to the grammar points and exercises. The good news is that the same lessons will be repeated again during the fall, and it will be good review and reinforcement for me. By listening to the lessons every night, it got me thinking about the format of one of the online writing classes I teach. First, what they do is the students watch the pre-recorded videos. Then they do the basic exercises, which are due 2 days after the day I assign them. Then they submit their final writing on the LMS by the day before the following week. Sometimes I get frustrated reading their work because it seems like they just went through the motion. Not because they didn't want to do the work, but they took about 15 other classes besides my writing class. So it's hard for them to manage their schedule. So the third point, which is the final writing, this has to be done independently outside of class anyways. So I'm thinking of teaching this course on Zoom in the fall so I can monitor the students' progress and their work, even if they don't ask questions. So I will change the format from what I did, which are in the red fonts, and then I'll keep the third point, which I put in black fonts. I have also discovered by listening to my radio lessons that Committing information to one's memory in a short time is quite challenging. Yes, there's language learning anxiety, and I understand that Japanese English learners are tongue-tied and are perceived to be shy. But as a novice language learner, I don't have enough time to memorize everything to be able to produce language orally in the way language teachers, like me, expect students to do it. So that was quite an awakening for me. Looking ahead, I would like to conclude by sharing the action I plan to take. First, I will revise my English writing syllabus and offer part of my classes on Zoom to be able to monitor spontaneous student progress. The second point is that I will continue studying Chinese to promote studying abroad to students. This is because if I'm trying to promote studying abroad, yet I'm not doing anything new like I'm telling the students to do, then I don't think I'm setting a good example. The third point is I'd like to take the test for Chinese proficiency, the Chukin, grade pre-4, which is the lowest level. Gotta start somewhere. Ironically, I chose NHK lessons initially because I thought I liked the idea of not having any pressure, not getting assessed, and not having to push myself. But I realized that I need to work towards a goal, so once I can pace myself better with how to proceed with the radio lessons this fall, I hope to have a better idea as to when I'd be ready for the Chuken test. And you can find here the references that I cited. Thank you for listening. 谢谢。